This is no longer a normal world. Civilization is cracking, humanity is losing control, and the reality we once trusted no longer applies. In this ranking, I'm breaking down new movies and series from 2025 that blend post-apocalypse, horror, and sci-fi into dark visions of the future. Worlds ruled by werewolves, vampires, and the consequences of human ambition reveal how fragile civilization really is. Each title pushes that collapse even further. Stay until the very end, because the final entry is a 2026 release that could completely redefine how cinema portrays the end of the known world. Alien, Earth. On Earth in the future, the sky is calm, but beneath its surface, a nightmare is brewing that no one can stop. The world has been taken over by powerful corporations for whom ethical boundaries ceased to exist long ago, and humans have become merely elements in a larger experiment. When a mysterious research vessel crashes on the planet, it reveals a project created in absolute secrecy and beyond any control. An elite group sent to the crash site quickly discovers that this is no ordinary accident, but something much more dangerous. At the center of events is a being that is a combination of human and synthetic, forced to confront its own identity and roll in a world ruled by greed. The series builds tension by showing that the greatest threat is not what came from space, but what humans created themselves. Wolfman. At night, something roams the forest and fear returns in its most primitive form. The story focuses on a man who, along with his family, ends up in an isolated house, unaware that the area hides a dark curse. After a brutal attack, things begin to happen that cannot be explained logically. The protagonist's body gradually changes, his senses sharpen, and the line between man and beast begins to blur. The struggle is no longer just for survival, but for preserving his own identity and protecting his loved ones from the monster he may become. The film focuses on a dense atmosphere, mounting tension and psychological horror, showing the werewolf not as a legend, but as a curse destroying the family from within. Dracula, a love tale. For centuries, his name has been synonymous with fear, but this story begins with love, not blood. When Dracula loses the woman who was his whole world, he cannot come to terms with her death and chooses a path from which there is no return. Cursed with immortality, he lives in the shadows, watching as eras pass, and the memory of his beloved never fades. Hundreds of years later, fate cruelly mocks him by placing a woman on his path who is strikingly similar to the one he lost. Old feelings return, but with them also return darkness, hunger, and a curse that cannot be deceived. Dracula must choose between love, which offers hope for redemption, and the nature of a monster that demands blood. The film combines gothic romance with dark horror, showing the legend in a completely new, more tragic light.
Listen carefully. This is a post-apocalyptic world where nights belong to vampires and days belong to werewolves. Humans survive only because of the choices they make at the last moment. I'm about to show you 4 of them. I've already made my choice.
First decision. You live at night. You avoid daylight and hide from werewolves. Darkness feels safer until you remember who truly owns the night.
Second decision. You move by day. You trust the light to protect you. The sun keeps vampires away. But werewolves don't need darkness to hunt.
Third decision. You choose an alliance, not because you trust them, because you have no better options left. Protection keeps you alive for now, but every deal comes with a cost.
Fourth decision. You stay human. No alliances, no deals. Freedom gives you control, but a lone human is the easiest prey.
I've already made my choice. I would live by day and avoid both sides of this war. If you believe another decision gives a better chance to survive this world, leave a comment explaining what you would choose and why.
Worldbreaker. The world does not end in a single moment, but in a series of catastrophes that break the planet piece by piece. When inexplicable seismic phenomena, extreme storms, and sudden cracks in the Earth's crust begin to appear, humanity quickly realizes that it is facing a force that cannot be stopped. At the center of events are ordinary people trying to survive in a world that is literally falling apart beneath their feet. Every decision becomes a fight for life, and the line between civilization and chaos disappears within days. The more the planet is destroyed, the clearer it becomes that this is not just a natural disaster, but a global point of no return. The film focuses on the scale of destruction, tension, and the desperate struggle for survival in a world that is becoming uninhabitable. Resurrection. The world depicted in this story no longer resembles the reality we know. It is a reality after a turning point, after a silent apocalypse, in which humanity paid a high price for its own progress. People have achieved what was supposed to be a dream come true, near immortality, but in return, they have lost the ability to dream, feel emotions, and truly experience the world. This is no longer a normal world, but a cold, barren reality devoid of meaning and dreams. At the center of the story is a woman who discovers the existence of a being capable of dreaming, something forbidden and dangerous in this new order. Entering her visions, she begins to uncover the hidden truth about the past, memory, and what has been taken away from humanity. The film takes the viewer on a dreamlike, melancholic journey through a world after the end of humanity, asking whether survival without feelings and dreams still has any meaning. Before we move on to the final movie in this ranking, I want to pause for a moment and share something special. Very soon, my new film titled Zero Motion will be released. It's a post-apocalyptic story about a world that suddenly freezes, where people lose control over their own bodies and reality stops following familiar rules. Zero Motion presents the end of the world without explosions or warnings, replacing them with silence, chaos, and fear as the new normal. If you're into dark sci-fi and stories about the collapse of civilization, this is a premiere worth keeping an eye on. And now, let's move on to the final movie in the ranking. Disclosure Day. In an instant, everyday life ceases to exist when irrefutable evidence of alien intelligence appears around the world. Information that has been hidden or ridiculed for years reaches the public and causes global shock. The media broadcasts non-stop, governments lose control of the narrative, and ordinary people must face the idea that they are not alone in the universe. The story focuses on several characters who observe how one revelation changes everything. From fascination and euphoria, through fear and panic, to social tensions and political conflicts. This is not a story about invasion, but about the consequences of a truth that shatters the world order and shows how fragile civilization is when the foundations of known reality begin to crumble.